Have you ever looked up at a skyscraper and wondered about the hands that built it? This isn't just the story of a building, ... It's the story of a dream that reached for the heavens, a dream that built the sky. Our story begins in a small American town, the kind where the sky feels vast and endless, but dreams often feel contained. Every night, long after the town had fallen silent, Elias would climb onto the roof of his father's barn. He wouldn't be counting sheep. He'd be counting stars, tracing constellations with his finger, feeling a pull towards that infinite darkness. His father was a steelworker, a man whose hands were a roadmap of hard labor, scarred and calloused. His back was bent from years of toil, but his heart was filled with an unshakable pride. He'd look at his son, gazing at the cosmos, and say, "One day, Elias, you'll build something. Something strong enough to touch the sky." At the time, Elias didn't fully grasp the weight of those words, but they planted a seed in his soul, a seed that he would carry with him when he finally left home, with little more than a dusty suitcase and that powerful, unspoken dream. The world outside his small town was a harsh teacher. Elias's journey was paved with relentless struggle. He found work in loud, grimy factories, the clang of machinery, a constant rhythm to his days. His nights were often spent in the transient world of train stations, finding a moment's rest on a hard wooden bench. But even in exhaustion, his dream burned bright. He'd retreat to cheap, dimly lit, rented rooms, and by the flickering light of a single candle, he would pore over engineering textbooks, teaching himself the language of structures, stress, and steel. Failure became a constant companion. His early designs, sketched on scrap paper, were flawed. They collapsed in his mind and on the drawing board. His hands, once soft, became raw and calloused, sometimes bleeding from the sheer effort of his labor. But with every setback, every slammed door, every moment of despair, a quiet voice whispered from the memory of his father's words. Asterisk, try again, asterisk. It was a mantra of resilience, a promise he had made to himself and to the man who first believed in him. Years melted away, and the relentless passage of time transformed the boy from the barn roof into a determined, weathered man. His journey led him to the bustling, chaotic heart of America, New York City. There fate intervened. He joined a small, audacious team of engineers and workers, all united by a project that the world deemed impossible, a folly of ambition. They were going to build a tower so tall it would pierce the clouds, a titan of steel and stone. They were going to build the Empire State Building. The work was brutal, a daily battle against the elements and gravity itself. Through blinding snowstorms that turned the city white, through torrential rain and howling winds. The construction site was a symphony of danger and courage. Men who came to be known as skywalkers balanced precariously on steel beams, hundreds, then 1,000 feet in the air. They moved with a dancer's grace, their hearts steady as the wind roared around them like an angry beast. There were no safety harnesses, no nets to catch a fall. There was only skill, trust in the man next to you, and an overwhelming sense of pride in what they were creating together. They weren't just riveting steel. They were stitching together the fabric of a new skyline. Elias was one of them. He felt the sway of the beams beneath his feet, the biting cold on his face, the sheer, terrifying thrill of being suspended between earth and sky. He was living his father's words, literally building something strong enough to touch the heavens. And then the day came. The final beam, the very pinnacle of the structure, was ready to be hoisted into place. As it settled into its final resting spot, a hush fell over the crew. Elias stood there at the very top of the world, 1,000 feet above the bustling streets. The city of New York spread out beneath him, a breathtaking tapestry of light and shadow, glowing like a vast sea of earthbound stars. In that quiet, sacred moment, with the wind whispering in his ears, he looked up at the endless blue and whispered to the memory of his father, "Dad, I did it. I touched the sky." He hadn't just built a structure. He had fulfilled a legacy. Decades passed. The city changed. The world changed. But the Empire State Building stood unwavering, a silent testament to the dreamers who built it. Elias grew old. His hair turned to silver, his steps slower, but the fire in his eyes remained. He would often visit the iconic landmark, blending into the crowds of tourists. He'd stand in the lobby or on the observation deck, a quiet, anonymous figure, watching as people from all over the world stared up in awe, their faces filled with wonder. They didn't know his name. They didn't know the story of the boy on the barn roof, of the candlelit nights studying, of the calloused hands and the unwavering resolve. But that didn't matter to Elias. He'd simply smile, a knowing, gentle smile. He understood a profound truth. Some people build monuments of stone and steel that scrape the clouds. Others build monuments of spirit, resilience, and quiet determination. The story of America, at its very best, was built by both. It's written in the steel girders of its skyscrapers and etched into the hearts of the ordinary people who dared to build them. Thank you so much for watching and sharing in this story with me. If you were moved by Elias's journey, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that celebrate the human spirit. We'll see you in the next one.